How's it going, guys? I've been sitting on this video idea for a while now, and it's basically the idea of having the holy trinity of plant-based stocks being Beyond Meat, Oatly, and Eat Just. Now, I did a few videos on Oatly back when they first IPO'd a couple weeks ago just to discuss, my price prediction for it and whether or not it's overvalued or not, because I do love the product. I love Oatly, love the logo, love the branding and everything. As you can see here on their website, they have so many more products that they just recently launched. It's crazy. They have these oat gurt containers now, which is really weird. There's like a whole, they're like in this milk container thing. I don't even know what the hell this is, but it looks really interesting. They have oat gurt. They have all this other stuff for cooking. I'm not really sure again what this is. Whippable creamy oat. Again, not really sure. It looks like a bunch of barista kind of stuff. But again, very cool stuff, guys. I love Oatly, branching out into all these different products and everything. Because I love Oatly and because I love Just Egg, I wanted to eventually think, because a lot of people were saying in the comments, I can't just stick to Beyond Meats because, Beyond Meat is kind of, why limit my channel to only talking about Beyond Meat? And I do kind of agree with that, but I do only want to talk about stocks that I'm really, really passionate about, and I am very passionate about Beyond Meat, but I also am very passionate about Oatly as well and their products. I love their products too, along with Just Egg, which if you guys aren't sure what Just Egg is, they are an egg replacements company. They also are doing lab-grown meat as well. As you can see right here, they have cultured meats. They were actually the first cultured meat company to sell the first lab-grown chicken in the world in Singapore, I believe. So that is huge, in that regard, that they are capturing not only the fake egg industry, but also the fake meat industry, but a different sector of it being cultured meat. Which, for those of you who have watched my channel for a while, you know that I have an opinion on the future of meat being half cultured meat and half plant-based meat. I believe that's the future. There's room for both of them, which in a way, investing in Eat Just could act as a hedge against Beyond Meat. For those of you who may think that only one or the other is going to dominate and there's not going to be room for both of them, it's a good hedge against Beyond in general, and I guess plant-based meat in general. And with that being said, they're eyeing an IPO, I think they said as early as the end of 2021. Whenever they become profitable, the CEO, Josh Tetrick, he wants to wait until they're profitable to IPO, which I think is pretty responsible of him and pretty awesome to wait to do that. So they're going to be the only profitable company out of Beyond and Oatly, so that's just something to keep in mind right there. Their revenue for 2021 so far is estimated to be 91 million, and I just wanted to finish showcasing their products here. So they have the original Just Egg in the liquid form in the container that you can buy. They also have the frozen folded Just Egg, which are my personal favorite products of theirs. When you combine these with the Beyond Breakfast Sausage, it is a game changer for breakfast. It is amazing. They make an amazing combo. And the last thing here, they launched these plant-based egg bites, which I believe I tried the Mexican one. It was really good. Really, really delicious. They have an American version, an Indian-inspired version, and a Japanese-inspired version, as you guys can see here on the right, with varying ingredients, again, based on the location. Very cool stuff here, guys. I can't wait to try the other ones. So yeah, guys, I guess this is just a video, asking my audience, asking you guys if you would be interested in me delving into Just Egg and Oatly as well for news and analysis. I know I just kind of rebranded my whole channel for Beyond Meats. I got my new banner and everything, but the more I think about it, I just really love these companies, and I plan on having them in my portfolio, so I feel like I should be talking about them as well. And lastly, for the last part of this video, I was debating whether or not I wanted to include this or not, because it's kind of still a work in progress. These are my 3 valuations for all 3 companies. You guys saw this in my Beyond and Oatly videos, so if you haven't seen that, again, I'll leave a link to that either up here or in the description. Yeah, so these are my price predictions for Beyond and Oatly. I actually modified my Oatly one a little bit to only do 10%. Because I think maybe 15% was a little bit too crazy, which would only be a 4.6x from the current price, because they are kind of overvalued currently at a $16 billion market cap, which is pretty insane. I do think that it probably should pull back to 12 billion to 10 billion, and we have Beyond at an 8.2x. But what I really wanted to talk about today was my Eat Just column that I just added, and I'm going to go through all these numbers and explain how I got all these. So firstly, their estimated market cap. So since they're not public yet, obviously they don't have a market cap yet, but they're estimated to be worth 2 billion currently. I see that at least doubling, or maybe even going up to 5 billion by the time they IPO, because again, Oatly had the same thing. They were supposed to IPO at 5 billion, and then they ended up doubling that estimate to 10 billion, and now they're sitting at 16 billion. But I think 4 to 5 billion is a bit more accurate, and there's actually a reason for that. I think that their 2021 revenue is going to reflect that, because currently their revenue, like I said before, is 90 million, but if you annualize that for the whole year, then you get 180 million as their estimated revenue by the end of 2021. Beyond and Oatly trade at a roughly 20 times price to sales ratio, which 20 times 180 would give them a roughly $3.6 billion market cap, and I'm sure that's going to be, rounded up, overestimated to 4 billion, 5 billion. And then we get to the PS ratio in 2030. I gave them the same PS ratio as Beyond because I think that they are also a food tech company, where Oatly, not so much. I just gave them the same PS ratio as their competitor, Dannon. And right here we have the estimated meat industry size and egg industry size by 2030. And how I got this number is I just took the $1.5 trillion meat industry from the Beyond category, and I just slapped that on there. And then I recently read that the worldwide egg industry is estimated to be $300 billion, I think it was by 2025 or 2030. So yeah, the $300 billion egg industry plus the $1.5 trillion meat industry gets you to $1.84 trillion for both of those industries. And of this $1.84 trillion, I have it estimated that the plant-based egg industry will be able to capture at least 10% of the $300 billion egg industry, which would be $30 billion. And then there's also an estimate that I read. Again, you guys are just going to have to take my word for it. I forget the exact source. But that the cell-based meat industry is going to be $140 billion by 2030. So, 30 billion plus 140 billion gets the addressable market size of 170 billion for the plant-based egg and the cell-based meat industry. And then where I get their potential revenue from is if they're able to capture 25% of the plant-based egg industry, which I think is very possible because they have the superior product and the first mover advantage, which would give them $7.5 billion in revenue from their plant-based eggs. And then for the cell-based meat industry, it's kind of harder to estimate this because there aren't really any products on the market right now. But I just did a estimation of it. They're able to capture 10% of that. You could say that's too liberal, maybe too conservative, but I think 10% is kind of fair because they seem to have a first mover advantage being one of the first cell-based meat companies. So again, 10% of that would be 14 billion, and that is how I get the $21.5 billion in revenue by 2030, which if we do a price to sales ratio of 2, that would give them a $43 billion market cap by 2030. Now again, guys, this is assuming that they IPO with their initial $2 billion valuation, which I don't think is going to happen. So if we switch this here to $4 billion, then we get a more accurate picture. Then we get a 10.75x in price, which again sounds more reasonable than a 21x in price. And even if we switch it to 5 billion, which I think 5 billion, to be honest, is what they are going to end up IPOing at. I know it's going to be a bit overvalued, but in this market, everything is just IPOing at super high valuations. So 5 billion, which would still be an 8.6x in price, which is right around what Beyond's multiple is. So again, that's still a very good multiple. If they do IPO at 5 billion, there's still a lot of potential upside from there. So that's pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to let me know again in the comments if you're okay with me covering Oatly as well as Just Egg in the future for news and analysis. I really love these companies. I really think that these three, like I said, or like the title of the video is, are the holy trinity of plant-based stocks. I really do believe that. Everything from their branding, their logo, their first mover advantages, their quality of their products, everything, I think that they're amazing, and I think there's a lot of money to be made if we all invest in these companies.